Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and to Bryar Rose. Let's continue because it seems that Knox is in dire need of some help. It's lunchtime by the time Knox and I pull into the parking garage near Lucky's. This part of Brooklyn is still pretty deserted, even during the daytime. It's all part of the wards Alec cast over Lucky's. The place is a werewolf hangout, and humans are most definitely not allowed. Even so, the protective spells have been going haywire lately. When that happens, this empty residential street gets mobbed with humans and their handhelds, all of them dying to take a selfie with a real werewolf. With magic disappearing from the world, shifters, witches and fairies are more sought after than Hollywood stars. It's hard to get rid of them, and even harder to magically wipe their memories and cell phones afterwards. That's why wards are so important. Better to keep the humans out. Knox pauses along the sidewalk. You should eat. So should you. The scent of copper and smoke has never been stronger. Knox's pain is getting worse. Maybe you should skip this meeting at Lucky's. I can talk to Az. My wolf stirs inside my soul. Our mate is in pain. This is a good idea. Let him rest. Knox gives me the side eye. Your wolf talking to you again. Inside my head, my wolf yips for joy. I am. Our mate is so wonderful to have guessed. Once again, my wolf proves that she's Knox's biggest fan. Tell him what I said. Yes, I reply to Knox. She thinks you should rest. She's a protective animal, which is cool. But you know I'm not leaving you. Knox gives my hand a squeeze. We'll get some grub after we meet with Az. Yeah. Tell him we want rabbit, says my wolf, or some of those fae who look like sheep. That's not happening. We're leaving the fae alone. In all honesty, the idea of food sounds unappealing. Sure, I haven't eaten all day, but Knox's glyphs are fading. There's no way I can force anything down until I get some answers. Even so, I slap a smile on my face. Sounds like a plan. We quickly reach Lucky's. It's one of those basement bars where you have to step down to the pavement to reach the door. In fact, if you looked at the place from the street, it wouldn't look like a bar so much as a nondescript brick building. The wares like their privacy. Knox and I step down the 5 short stairs to reach Lucky's main door. Once inside, the place looked like it always does. It's dimly lit with a low ceiling, lots of small, round tables, and a back wall that's lined with shelves of alcohol. About 20 shifters hang out at the tables, most of them guys. Girl wares are rare. The moment Knox enters the room, all eyes lock onto him. Everyone's irises glow with golden light, which means their wolves are near the surface. I hang with Knox all the time, so I'm immune to this effect, but other wares feel his presence like a lightning bolt. It's Knox's natural alpha power, which is the energy that drives him to lead the pack. Or, in Knox's case, since he's a warden of all shifter magic, he's built to be the alpha of alphas. We shifters sense his stuff instantly. My inner wolf just loves this kind of thing. Our mate is supreme. All of the wolves want to have him lead. Lead them. The room falls quiet as Knox and I cross the floor. Usually Knox asks the bartender if Az is asleep. That's not what happens this time. Instead, the moment we're within a yard of the long wooden bar, the bartender, a freckled guy about our age, named Thad, nods towards the back door. He's waiting for you. Knox gives Thad one of those chin nods. Together, we open the back door and make what feels like an incredibly long trek down the hallway to Az's room. As we get closer, I recognise the deep rumble of Az's voice as well as the softer tones of other female voices. My brows lift. Az's visitors? That's new. I knock on the wooden door. Hello, Zizi? It's Knox and Bry. His reply echoes through the wood. Come in. My mind takes a snapshot of this moment. There are a number of ways my life could go, depending on what Zizi has to say. Please, let the old ware know some way to save Knox. My hand trembles as I twist the handle and push the door open. Inside, I find a scene I'd never expected. As in human form, which is shocking in itself, normally Az is in war state, lying on the floor. Knox told me he was always worried about Azizi not lasting much longer. Plus, Nux was also concerned about Az refusing to change into human form. It's not healthy for shifters to stay stuck in their mortal or animal states. But now, Aziz is out of wolf state and walking about as a man. It's something I've never seen before. Az also looks fit, with copper skin, a shaved head, and thick grey eyebrows. He has a round face and lean body. Today he's wearing a traditional white linen kilt, the kind they wore in ancient Egypt, and he's got visitors. In fact, the people we Azizi are none other than Scarlet and Aviana, two girls from my old magicorum team therapy group. I point at each of them in turn. Scarlet is first to speak. Saw you at school today. She's leaning against the wall, wearing red leathers. She looks just like she did in group, with her ebony dark skin, light amber eyes, and long braids. And I saw you, says Scar. For Scarlet, that's a lot of sharing. She's a werewolf who has a Red Riding Hood life template. Since the name was Scarlet, I assumed she put the red in Red Riding Hood. Although, looking at her now, she could possibly be the wolf in that tale as well. My wear sense to detect something shifter about her. Aviana steps forward. She's wearing a long black dress and has a crow perched on her shoulder. Combined with the pale skin, black hair, and pronounced eyebrows, she's working the full Wicked Witch look. Poor girl. Aviana's life template is to be the evil queen from Snow White, which is a bummer. She seems like a nice girl. No one wants to end up dead in a ditch while being uglied up by their own potions. Az focuses on me. You've returned. Even as a human, he still has a deep voice with a staccato of Arabic accent. And now, you remember, don't you? The words are out there, but unspoken. You remember about the void. I do. Sure, I could say more, but I'm not ready. After all, Avian and Scar are here. Anxiety bunches up my spine. I'm not sure how much I want to share with those two around. Don't get me wrong, they're nice girls. But this is life, death, and magic here. Az rounds on Nox. And you? He eyes my mate from head to toe. You look like camel dung I scraped off my sandal. Nox gives him the side eye. Thanks. Az gestures across the room. I see that you already know my friends, Scarlet and Aviana. I give them a half wave. Hey, nice to see you again. I saw what happened with the doors at Westlake. Aviana's voice comes out. That was rough. Her crow lets out a small caw that sounds like it sympathises too. Yeah, says Scar. I saw that too. Then Az called us over. He and I go way back. Scar folds her arms over her chest, a movement that makes the leathers creak. She's so badass. Aviana raises a hand. I'm only here because Scar asked me. She knows Az and everything. The bird calls again. And she's our best friend. This is a lot of sharing from Aviana. I get the feeling she doesn't hang out with folks other than a bird and Scar very much. Az steps closer. You've learned something. By the way, Az does this a lot. You've learned something. It's meant to be a question, but Az rarely asks questions, technically. So I go through everything that happened. I start with the school, the weird situation with the doors. After that, I tell him about assembling the new papyri and learning that we need to find the Codex Mechanica in order to locate the fountain. And finally, I share that I saw the void. I almost say something about Nox feeling worse, but I'm guessing that the camel dung comment means that Az is already onto that. Instead, I segue right to the big question. What do you know about the void? What I've learned from a few unfortunate encounters with the Shadowven. The void is an evil creature that came into being when magic was created. According to the first wardens, the void wishes to consume the world into nothingness. Nox frowns. Why didn't you say anything before? I did tell you. And I peep up. I did tell you as well. But there's this curse. You won't remember. I focus on Az. What do you know about all this? Let's just say that it's a side effect from my encounter with the Shadowven, says Az. But the tale isn't important now. Here's what is. Az gestures around the room. Just like Nox, Aviana and Scar will forget this conversation in a matter of seconds. Aviana and Scar share a confused look. Hey, grumbles Scar. We need to... What were we talking about again? She turns to Aviana. Do you remember? No idea, says Aviana, as grins. We were discussing the fate of the world. Sure we were, says Nox. You're doing that thing again. What thing? As. Nox shakes his head. The one where you talk in riddles. Ah, that. Apologies, as chuckles, but there's no humour in it. He focuses his attention on me. Now that you're ready, there are some things I can help. I can help. My inner wolf starts to howl. Help our mate! Our mate! I completely agree, I say in my mind. I hold up my hand with the palm facing Az. This is a universal symbol for stop right there, friend. Before we do anything else, you need to help Nox. Why is he getting sick? You wouldn't tell me on the phone, says Nox. It is because I need to find the fountain before the equinox. That's only 4 days away. I'm not sure that's really possible. Az's mouth thins to a line. I've consulted many friends and cast a number of spells. Your sickness is not due to the fountain. He gestures across the room. This is a personal matter that can wait until we are alone. No, Nox growls. You can tell me now. I've got nothing to hide. His gaze scans Scar and Aviana. From anyone. Az swipes his hand over his bald head. It's the motion he does when he's about to deliver really bad news. Magic doesn't like you two together. You're a warden. You should focus on finding the fountain of magic. No other shifter warden has found his mate before discovering the fountain. That's become a problem. You're distracted by your love for Bryar Rose. We aren't married as. Nox's word come out in somewhat of a snarl. Magic is supposed to leave us alone. You said that to me. Nox pounds his leg with his fist. Hell, you encouraged me to go after Bry. You said if you had the chance at love, you'd have risked everything. I gave the best advice I could at the time, says Az. I pinched the bridge of my nose. This is all moving so fast. The autumn equinox is coming up. The fountain's about to rise. It only makes sense. That would be the reason why Nox is feeling ill. A sinking feeling moves through my bones. Even so, I can't deny that it makes sense. If magic wants to shift a warden to find the fountain in 4 days, maybe it does think that it would have a better chance with someone who isn't distracted by love. Inside my heart, my wolf rouses. We're hurting our mate, she whimpers. We can't be with him. Az is wrong, I reply in my mind. There must be another explanation. But my words don't have a lot of force behind them. Az has never been wrong before. Az steps to Nox. Magic does what it wants. There's no controlling it or predicting it. The old were places a meaty hand on Nox's shoulder, and magic wants you to find the fountain. It sees your love for Bryar Rose as lessening your chances. Nox keeps his gaze locked with Az. A long pause follows before my mate utters a single word. No. Here is the truth of the matter, continues Az. The more time you spend with Bryar Rose, the more ill you'll become. It has nothing to do with the equinox in 4 days' time. You must be apart. Spend your time searching for the fountain, but do it separately. It's the only way you'll live. That's crap, snarls Nox. I know who you go to for magical advice, and my ex-girlfriend is not a great source of information. My eyes bulge with shock. Did Nox just say ex-girlfriend? I round an Az. You know T? For years, says Az. Az knows everybody, Az Nox, especially if they play any serious role in my life, but he can get too emotional when it comes to my safety. I've seen it before. He shoots a pointed look at his guardian. I've seen that face on Nox before. It says, you're full of crap on this one. How can you doubt my methods? Ask Az. As always, I consulted many, more experts than merely T. But she's on the list. Nox folds his arms over his chest. Look, T is a manipulative freak. I don't trust her. I don't trust this. Az. I have to be apart from Bryar or fall over dead. I call bullshit. Aviana takes a half step toward the door. Maybe we should leave. Nah, says Scar. Things are just getting interesting. Az steps away from Knox. You asked my assessment. That's what I have to tell you. This time Knox doesn't reply. The quiet in the room turns deafening. Inside my soul, my wolf curls up into a ball and falls silent as well. The fact that she's turned quiet means she suspects the truth, the same as I do. I'm killing my mate, just by standing near him. Azizi sighs. Now, if you don't mind, I need to help Bryar Rose travel through time. All the air gets sucked out of my lungs. This was already a pretty surreal day. I must have misheard as. I clear my throat. Let me get this straight. Did you say travel through time? Az lifts his chin. I did. Inside my soul, my wolf stands at attention. Travel through time? Will there be fairies to chew on? I have enough to worry about right now, so I decide to ignore my wolf for a bit. Sorry, I say. I'm stuck on the last thing we talked about. If I'm near Knox, I kill him. I don't want to go anywhere until we figure out if that's true. I disagree, counters Az. We must protect the fountain of magic and stop the void at all costs. Do you understand? Time travel. Knox dying, and now the fate of all magic is at stake. My brain goes into overload. My eyes well with tears. This is too much, Az. Come here. Knox wraps his arms around me and pulls me against the solidity of his chest. Closing my eyes, I soak into the warmth of his touch. A long minute passes this way before I feel ready to speak again. Why me? I ask. When Az speaks again, his voice is gentle. I don't know. All I can say is that magic has chosen you. I still say the stuff from tea is crap. Knox holds me more tightly. Bry is my life. Being near her don't hurt me. He glares at Az. You made a mistake. Anything is possible, says Az. I've heard that phrase from him before. It's Az's way of saying, I'm right, but I'm done fighting with you. There's a long moment of silence where no one's quite sure what to do next. We can't stand around like this all day, so I step away from Knox. Losing his touch hurts, but waiting around forever isn't an option. Turning, I address Scar and Aviana. I guess you're going to take me through time then? A small smile rounds Scar's mouth. If you're up for it. I am. Let's do this. And so, we begin. And that is the next part of Bryar Rose. Oh my days. Let's hope this can all be resolved and Knox does not die. Or even the fact that it's not just the fact that he's dying. What if they have to be apart forever? That would be like mental torture, emotional torture. Oh boy. Wow. Thank you for listening and many blessings.